Hi everyone, my name is Jen Edwards and I'm an art therapist. I've been going to the Madison Heights Active Adult Center where I lead an artist therapy class. I hope everyone is doing good and healthy. I know it's been hard, but just know you're not alone and we will get through this. Art is a great way to relax and focus on positive things. It also keeps you busy and can be a good distraction. Today, I have a beaded bracelet using newspaper comics actually. I also have one that I made using an ad, like a newspaper ad. Hope you can see that. It's a fun project that you can do with newspaper comics or a magazine or wrapping paper and a pencil. You could also use a skewer or a straw. The longer the better though. See, and we have some scissors, a glue stick, and some yarn. I have a multicolor yarn and another one that's just plain. For an extra touch, I'll also be applying Mod Podge, just regular Mod Podge. You could use clear nail polish or squeeze glue or varnish, but you may want to wear gloves with that. And I'll use a brush. And I also have a cup of soapy water to put my brush in at the end, and a piece of cardboard to put underneath. As always, there's no wrong way to do this, and it's more about just enjoying the moment. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to take the paper, and you want it to kind of go like that. You want to I have a pre-cut 6 by 10 inch piece. It should be a little narrower than your pencil or your stick. Okay? And you want to lay it vertically and have the side that you want to show underneath. So I'm going to show this side on my beads. So I'm going to lay it like that, upside down. And if you have pictures, you probably want it to go this way, not that way. So this way. Okay? Okay, so lay your paper down, then take your pencil, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to roll it, kind of line it up at the edge of your paper closest to you, and just try to center it. Okay, and take your glue, and I'm going to start applying it about an inch. So, about an inch. That's where I'll start to apply the glue. That way it won't stick to your pencil won't stick to the paper. Okay, so I'm going to start putting my glue on. And you don't have to do the whole paper. Then take your pencil and just start to kind of roll it. Roll up your pencil. Try to keep it centered if you can. And just roll it up. Whoops, see? I gotta go back. Doesn't have to be exact. Just a general roll here. And then keep applying glue. And keep kind of lining up your pencil as you go. And it should just smooth out on its own because it's just paper. It might help if your paper isn't wrinkled to start with. Yep, I'm just going to keep on rolling. Go slow. Needs more glue. Yeah, lots of glue. Because that's what holds it all together. So I'm going to go all the way to the end, all the way up. Now, the longer of a piece that you have, the thicker your bead will be. So it'll be kind of a thick bead. Feel free to experiment and try different paper. Just have fun with it. Ooh, I'm almost to the end. Okay, so I'm just going to keep gluing all the way to the end and roll it up. And I like to put a little bit of glue on that where it ends, where it overlaps. Just put a little bit. You might get sticky. Okay, so it looks something like that. And then while it's still wet, just carefully pull it off your pencil. It should come off easy. See? Okay. Oops. Okay, so we're done with the glue. And now I'll be cutting 8 pieces to make my beads for my bracelet. But you can cut as many pieces as you like. They don't have to be the same size. And we're probably gonna fold it just a little bit to make it easier to cut them. Take your scissors. And I'm just gonna start cutting. I'm not even gonna think about it. So 1, they might shoot out too, just so you know. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm actually gonna have 7. That's okay. And you can kind of squish them back into shape. Actually, no, before you do that, trim the edges, and that's a good way just to make sure they're straight, and then squish them back into place. Yeah, you can just trim them just to kind of clean them up a little bit. We're done with the scissors. And we're going to be using the Mod Podge. And I just want to show you how to seal it. And you'll seal the beads, and it'll give them a little shine too. Okay, so take your Mod Podge your brush, and we're just going to go right in there like we're painting. You don't need a lot. And we're going to paint them one at a time. I'm just going to paint the edges. You'll get a little sticky. I'm trying not to, but you know, it just happens. Just like life. Some things just happen, and we have to go with the flow, but it'll be okay. Okay, so there's one. I just did the outside. I'm not going to do the inside or the edges, but you can. It'll just take a little longer to dry, and if you do the ends, you'll have to, well, I'm going to stand it up to let it dry, but if you do the ends, you'd have to flip it over so that you could do both ends. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all of them, all your beads. You can kind of roll them as you do it to make sure that you have your shape. Yeah. And Mod Podge takes about 15 minutes to dry. Just so you know. So I'm going to stand it up. They are a little tricky, and if they fall down, just keep standing them up again. Yeah. And this will just give it an extra touch. I might be adding more than I need to, but that's okay. It won't hurt them to have extra. It just takes, the more you put on there, the longer it takes to dry. So. The Mod Podge is a little smelly too. Alright, I just have 2 more left, and then I'm going to let them dry a little bit. So if you wanted to, you could make a necklace using the same technique. You would just have more beads. So you probably would make 2 rolls of paper with the same idea. You can make an anklet. See, another good thing about the Mod Podge is it'll kind of seal off some of the paper that didn't get glued. So that's another good thing. Another fun thing you could do, if you have glitter, you could add glitter to your Mod Podge or your squeeze glue if you're using squeeze glue, and that'll make it a sparkly bead. I know, we're using what you have on hand, and I know it can be tricky. Okay, it looks like I got them all. So I'm going to close up my Mod Podge. And I'm going to put my brush in my soapy water cup. And I'll just let it sit. Okay, and while we wait for our beads to dry, I'm going to get my yarn ready. Let's see, so I could use this yarn. I think I will just use this one. Or wait, let's use the multicolor one because that might show off the beads a little bit more because it'll give it some contrast. So just take your yarn. You could also use ribbon or string, whatever you have. So I'm just kind of guessing. Just guessing. And it's okay if you have extra because you can always trim it. So I think I'm gonna cut about that much. So we're just kind of eyeballing it. I mean, if you want a measurement, it could be about 14 inches long. That's a good measurement. But everyone's wrist is different, so. Okay, so we have our string, and it's better to wait a little extra time just to make sure the beads are dry, because if they're still wet, especially on the inside, if you decide to do the inside or the ends, you want to let them dry because it might stick to your string, which wouldn't be good. Another thing you can do, if you have paint, you could try painting your beads before you put the sealer on, or when they're still on the pencil on that long roll, you could just paint it when it's like that and let it dry a little bit and then cut them out. So there's another thing you can do. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put my beads on there. Even if they're a little wet, it should be okay because I didn't do the inside or the ends. And they can go in any order. Sorry if my voice is a little dry. My voice gets dry when I'm talking to people. Okay, so I'm just putting them on there. And when the Mod Podge dries, it'll be clear. So all these little globs, you won't see them. You can even kind of reshape your beads at this point. It does feel a little tacky, but it's not wet anymore. Alright, so there you go. And I'm just gonna tie the ends together like a basic knot. Let me do that again so I can show you better. Making a little loop. You just pull them through. It's a basic thing. Okay, maybe not so basic, but I'll do it again. It's because it's yarn and my fingers are sticky. So that's something to keep in mind. If your fingers are sticky, it might pull your yarn a little. But okay. And it It should fit on my hand. But it's a little sticky, or a little tacky. So what you can do is just hang it. I actually put mine just on my bottle. And you can move the beads a little bit so that they don't stick if they are still sticky. And that's all you do. Let's see. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope to see you at the next artist therapy class. For now, hang in there, stay safe, and be happy.